And then when I knew astrology, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Everything is under the control of the nine planets. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Ashtang Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga, most importantly. If this placement is there, or like not directly, but the 28 hells are mentioned. We make a horoscope, like we make a horoscope of a baby. A baby is born at this time, this day. So similarly, the chart of death also can be made. I realized, how the world functions. Like Bhagavad Gita is the world manual. It tells you how the world actually functions, and I wrote it half in English and half in German, and I took printouts. Okay, I went to one print shop in Germany and I said, print me 10 copies immediately. So then I went to a place and I pasted those, pamphlets. I was like, yeah, the phone is gonna ring now. Because I'm the star, my thing is there everywhere. I'm like Sarva Vyapi, I'm everywhere. Like the phone is must ring. And then I was like, why is the phone not ringing? I had like some few subscribers, 7, 8 unsubscribed after I uploaded. I was like, okay, very good. Astrology is a part of our Shastra, our scriptures. So it is like a science. It is not just a science, it is much more than science. Or you have, the value of G, 9.8 meter per second square, something like that. Not everywhere. You go to Himalayas, the G value is different. You go to Germany, it is different, but we take some estimate, it is 9.8, let's take that. So that's like science. So astrology is exactly like that. So there was no wow factor in his horoscope. Now then he was asking, what do you think he will do in life? So I was about to speak. I was just about to speak things like, oh yeah, don't expect much. He will just make a living, just be happy with that. But before the moment I started speaking, by God's grace, his son came out from his room and I saw him. I got the shock of my life. He was like, 6'5". He was looking like a superstar. And he was smarter than the most smartest people I've seen in my life. And he came and sat for 5 minutes with me. I will actually tell them how the mechanism works so that you don't need an astrologer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to I'm a Recruiter podcast. I'm your host, Prafula Deuri. Today's episode is truly special for several reasons. Our guest is from my home state, Assam. Secondly, he is professionally a AI ML engineer, but by passion, he is an astrologer. Through his guidance, he have positively impacted thousands of individuals and their families. As a child, I was always fascinated about stars and belief in spirituality, something that deeply connected with today's conversation. In recruitment, we often talk about numbers, and so does our guest, but in very unique way through number, stars, and spiritual insights. So it's my pleasure to welcome Bhabajeet ji, a well-known astrologer currently based in Germany. He has crossed 1 lakh subscriber on YouTube and has made several predictions related to India's future and global dynamics. Babajit ji, thank you so much for joining us. We are truly excited to have you in I'm a Recruiter podcast, and thank you for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, but in spite of that, you have given us the time slot. So thank you once again, and we are really excited for this podcast today. So can you quickly introduce yourself?
So thank you, Professor. It's great to talk to another fellow SMEs. And yeah, thank you for the invitation to your podcast. I've seen some of the videos. They're really very nice. So yeah, so from my side, I'm Bhabajeet. I'm currently in Germany. I have done my bachelor's and master's in AI, machine learning, computer science, software engineering. So that has been my domain. And yeah, I did my master's in Germany from 2015 to 18. And yeah, from 2019 onwards, I'm working in the domain of AI ML in like 3 different companies I've worked till now. And currently, I'm working in an Australian based startup called Recruitment, where I'm working as a lead AI ML architect. And apart from this, as you said already, I also have a YouTube channel, Exotic Astrology. Yeah, it's been almost 8.5 years since March 2017. I have the channel and I've uploaded around like 2,500 videos maybe till date. long videos, short videos, reels, all this. I also have my Instagram page. So, yeah, my focus, my passion has been astrology and other spiritual sciences, where I try to use astrology to help people find their true nature other than what they think of themselves. And yeah, and use their horoscope, their birth chart, their details, their date of birth, numerology, and sometimes, our hand palmistry also, to
Okay.
actually know what is best for them and how they can plan their upcoming life, like next 30, 40, 50 years, like when they can get married, when they can have promotions, which domain is good for them, which sector should they enter into. So basically, overall development of a person, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, physically, socially also, and helping people to become their best version, yeah, or at least a better version
Great, great.
themselves. And yeah, so today finally we are meeting for the podcast.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. So before we start, right? So generally, I ask this question to all my guests, right? So you are basically from. I know that you are from Assam, but which part of Assam? Because I have invited, I think, two people from Northeast. So I think you are the third person from the Northeast. So just wanted to understand from where you are. It can be just a basic location. I don't need the specific location details.
Yeah. So I am basically from Guwahati. I've stayed there 18 years of my life. I did my
Okay.
schooling there at Srimanta Shankar Academy, Dispur. From
Yes.
first standard till 12th standard, I was there all 12 years. And then 2010, I moved to SRM University, Chennai, where I did my bachelor's in software engineering. And yeah, after that, I worked for very short period of time at Cape Gemini for 5 months. And then April 2015, I came to Germany for my master's. So location wise, I'm from Guwahati.
Good to know that you are from Assam. And like definitely I feel very proud when I get my guest from Northeast or from Assam or from any other states. Because like from the reason why I feel proud is even though our states are growing, but still I see that there are lots of opportunities we have, and people still feel there is not much of opportunity available, right?
Mm.
But when I see people growing in their career, I want to make sure that those kind of stories reach out to current students so that they can learn from those stories and grow and plan their career accordingly.
That's a very good approach.
So, what is your family background? Like, you mentioned that you have been your engineering. Then you also mentioned that you are doing astrology. So, what's your family background?
Yeah. So normally when people ask this, they expect me to answer something like, oh, my 10, 20 generations of people have been into astrology, and I am the 11th or the 21st generation. But fortunately, or rather unfortunately, nobody has been in astrology. So my grandfather was a IAS officer, and he retired as the secretary of education. And then my father was a senior bureaucrat in the government of Assam. He retired as commissioner and secretary of agriculture. So my background, and there are a few principal, vice principal, they are there in my family. So there is nobody from business, there's nobody from tech, and certainly nobody from astrology. My elder brother, he's around 7 years younger to me, so he did bachelor's in computer science, and he also did MBA. But before that, in my previous generation, there's absolutely nobody from IT or astrology. There are people from engineering, but nobody from IT or astrology. But yeah, my brother, me, and my another cousin, we all three are like software engineers, computer science, tech. So we have kind of started that line. And regarding astrology, I have been learning it myself from, it's long, like around 1998, 1999. So in 1999, I remember it was the time for the new century. So whenever we would open TV, it was like all fancy commercials would come. In Australia, this dance is going on. In US, this is going on. Like new world is beginning or something like that. And so I had a small book. I still don't know how the book was there in my house, because, as I said, there was nobody from astrology in my whole family. And even in my current, like my parents, or my relatives, there's nobody who is even interested in astrology. So that makes me more surprised that how was such a book present in my house. Maybe somebody gifted it to my father, or yeah, maybe. So it was a book about planets where there was description of the first planet I saw. It was mentioned like Jupiter. There is something called as Jupiter in the sky. It's like a very big planet, like, and these are like real big bodies in the sky. And then, of course, the most dreaded and feared of all planets, Saturn. So I saw Saturn was also there, and then they had all this Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all this information was there. So when I saw all this, I was wondering. I mean, what the hell is all this? What are these like big bodies? Like, I was wondering why they are in the sky. I mean, they must have some use, right? I mean, and God will not put like, and like, if you see our physical body, not there is not one single organ or one part of the body which is not having any use. Like, if this thumb is not there, you cannot catch anything. So then, if your eyes are not there, you can't see. If your nose is not there, you can't smell. So every part of our body has some function and some utility, and it's there for a particular purpose. All the organs inside the body, liver, pancreas, whatever. So when I saw all these planets, I was a bit fascinated, or rather, I was considerably fascinated by seeing, like, more, not by seeing their size or the diagrams, which are very majestic by default, but I was more fascinated by what the hell are these entities doing in the sky? Like, what if there was no Jupiter? I mean, what would happen? The world will not be there. Or then I saw the sun, moon, like, what if they were not there? And like, why they are? Why are they existing? So then I went a bit towards astronomy, the scientific side. Okay, these many number of earths, if you combine, it is the sun. These many number of earths you combine is Jupiter, Saturn. Okay, so I got all this information, but the fundamental curiosity was still not satisfied. Why are they existing? I mean, what's the need? Like, but then I thought maybe these are just random entities. People have given names, like Greek god Jupiter, or whatever, Saturn or something like that. But then gradually, from 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, like this, I started knowing about astrology. And then when I knew astrology, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this entity out there is not a dead thing. It is actually living, and it is impacting our lives. Positive or negative is secondary, but either they are impacting us or they are reflecting a part of us. So, like, for example, like Jupiter, for example, Jupiter, very big planet. So in astrology, it represents our optimism. It represents spirituality. It represents guru, our knowledge. It represents our ability to summarize things. That is Jupiter. Like, some people, you will see, they are very good with details. They know a thousand things.
Yes.
So that is seen by Mercury, but they are very bad at summarizing. If you ask them, okay, you know everything, what is your conclusion? They are like, oh, I don't know. So that means their Mercury is good, Jupiter is not very good in their horoscope. And sometimes, if Jupiter is good, they are very good at giving a overall picture, vision, bird's eye view. But Mercury is not good. They are not good with the details. They cannot answer questions in detail, something like that. So then I came to know, no, there were 9 planets, and then I saw there were these two magic planets which are not visible, Rahu, Ketu. Okay, they are like nodes of the moon, north node, south node. They are not even visible to the naked eye. So then I did more research. I read. So then I realized everything, anything that is existing in this world. This black color hoodie that I'm wearing, this red color t-shirt, then whatever, this white color trackpad, everything from top to bottom, even, this glass of water, whatever it is, everything is under the control of the 9 planets. This is what I saw. And they will kind of indicate, like, for example, in astrology there are certain thing, there are time periods which are known as dashas. Okay, so for example, you say, no, I was in my 8th standard, I was in 9th standard. So any point of time when you are a living being, any point of time in your life, you are always under a planet's dasha, means time period. So for example, if somebody, so I realized all this as I read, like, for example, I saw if somebody is in Mercury dasha, Mercury, so then the person will get attracted towards green color. This is what I saw. If somebody is buying a car in Venus dasha, Venus, so they will naturally go and buy silver color, because that is the color of Venus. Color in the sense, not the color of the planet, but that is what Venus represents. So I saw, it's very interesting because the planets are actually, they can give a lot of clues about, what is going on and what do we like, what we don't like, what kind of a career we like, what kind of a spouse we like. So I saw that anything and everything, like starting from education, health, career, money, marriage, like relationships, everything top to bottom, everything can be analyzed using a person's horoscope. So then I was more fascinated. And then later on, when I went to Chennai in 2010, I realized I met many spiritual personalities, many gurus from different sampradayas, different traditions. So that was even more interesting. That was like, going to the next level. So till the time I was in Assam, in Guwahati, so my knowledge was like, okay, I know this, I know that, I know everything. Like I used to think I know everything. But then when I went to Chennai, I was like, yeah, like I saw these gurus and they are like, they can recite all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, they can recite the entire Bhagavad Gita, like all the 700 shlokas they have in their mouth. But they are like, I asked them, how do you have so much knowledge? So they are like, no, I don't know anything. Like I have to read this. I have to read 1,000 other books. I just know this. And then when I realized that, then I realized, I saw that I was like, oh, I don't even know 0.1% of what this person knows. And he says, he's like, like when you are in the seashore, you are in the ocean bed, you are like, you are playing with some stones and you are figuring out, where is this ocean, like where does this ocean start, where does it end, how deep is it, you haven't even touched the water, and you are like,
Yeah.
so my situation was like that. So then I read the Bhagavad Gita, and most importantly I understood, law of karma, and karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyan yoga, ashtang yoga, then bhakti yoga, most importantly. And then later on, when I read the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the crest jewel of all the Vedic scriptures. Like when Maharishi Vyasdev wrote all the Vedic texts, he compiled with his hands. So then at the end, at the pinnacle of his maturity, he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is called the Amalam Puranam, which means like the purest of all religious texts. Pure, why is it pure? Not because it is written with sandalwood. Pure because there is no religiosity there. It is fully spiritual. It talks of going back to the spiritual world. So when I read the Bhagavatam, I saw there is, in like Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, 12 parts, and within that there is canto number 5, where there is a description of the universe, how the universe is. 14 planetary systems are there, like the current, where we know as Earth, this planet where we know we are staying, that is a part of a big place. It is called as Bhuloka. So this is the seventh realm. Above this there are six, and below this there are seven further realms. So like that is, like 14 planetary systems. And when I saw all this, there was detailed description where Rahu resides, where Ketu resides. It also mentions the distance, how far, how many thousand million kilometers Rahu resides, where it tells how far the sun is, how far the moon is, so it gives all this description, and it tells, how, what is the nature of a particular planet. It says, like for example, in the Bhagavatam 5th canto, it mentions so and so kilometers away from the Bhuloka resides the most abominable of all planets, Rahu. So when you read it, you're like, abominable, chi. So yeah, so these are things, so it certifies before this is an abominable planet. Abominable planet means it shows all the bad things of the world, like, drugs, like criminals, speaking lies, like shady things. That's why they are shady planets. They don't exist in reality. It shows a person who has been cheated. How do you feel when you get cheated? Suddenly you get the news, you feel shocked, right? So then I read, like I read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there we also have the hellish planets, the description of 28 hells. And in astrology, there are 27 nakshatras, and if you add Abhijit, then it becomes 28 nakshatras. And you can actually know where, if a person like does lot of bad activities at the time of death, we make a chart what time a person dies, okay? And I'm in Germany, and Germany is known for a famous person. So, yeah, we astrologers have the horoscope of that person's death.
Okay.
But nobody can say what does that chart mean. When you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, so there are indications that if this placement is there, or like not directly, but the 28 hells are mentioned. Who does what kind of activity, who goes where, like in that level. At the end, when I started with astronomy, then I started astrology, then I started the Bhagavad Gita, and I realized how the world functions. Like Bhagavad Gita is the world manual. It tells you how the world actually functions and what is going on. You think something is happening to you because of the present. No, there are a lot of things in the background. Okay. But still that is not the conclusion is when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, then you actually know, okay, this is a part of the large thing. It's like, then the puzzle makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so when I read all this, and then when I came to Germany, I used to consult people gradually. Sometimes, my friends in my university, and then people, they encouraged me that why don't you do something, like online. And I was very shy. I was like, no, no, I will not do all this. I will not be successful. Like, who will watch me after all, and why will they watch me? So then I thought, okay, let me take a solution in between. Rather than me going online, or rather than me doing nothing, let me do something offline. This is what I thought. So what I did is I made a pamphlet of mine with my photo. It was the first pamphlet I made in my whole life. There was written, like, oh, I can, I'm like fortune teller. I can, tell you how much money you have, when you're gonna find a boyfriend or a girlfriend, something like that. And I wrote it half in English and half in German, and I took printouts. Okay, I went to one print shop in Germany, and I said, print me 10 copies immediately. Okay, use the best quality photo paper, best ink. I will pay whatever is required. So then I took there were like 10 printouts, like pamphlets, like so then I went to a place and I pasted those, pamphlets. And then, when you do this, you do it in all 10 prominent places of the whole town of my university. So then my phone number was there, my email was there. So after putting, I was like, yeah, the phone is gonna ring now. Because I'm the star, my thing is there everywhere. I'm like Sarva Vyapi, I'm everywhere. Like the phone is must ring. And then I was like, why is the phone not ringing? I was like offline, online. I was checking my phone. Is it working? I was calling my friend. Bhai, check karo, chal raha hai na phone. Ha, phone chal raha hai tum. So then next day, I went to my university, one of the places. So where my pamphlet was, so there I saw my pamphlet was torn in between. It was like A4 sheet, and it was so bad, the half torn part was not there, and the remaining half was as it is. And that was a place where there are like around 2000 pamphlets. It's like a place where people put a note, "Oh, I need, like, somebody to rent my place." It's like anything student, kind of, it's like a board where everybody puts. So then I saw, and I was like so frustrated because my pamphlet was the only one which was torn in between, and the half was thrown, the remaining half was as it is. So then I was like very frustrated. I was like, who did this? Like, I was like, how dare you do this? Whoever has done it. And then I was even more angry. Like, why is every pamphlet as it is? Mine is like torn. Like, I was very angry. So then I told my friends, this has happened, and they said, why don't you start something in YouTube? Because they said, even if you do astrological work here, you won't stay here whole life. Once you do your masters, you will go to another city for a job. So then nobody knows you. You don't know anybody, right? So better
Yes.
than that, you do something online. So then my friend suggested, okay, you start something in YouTube. Instagram was not much those days. Facebook was also kind of dead. YouTube was like this thing, like, oh wow, it's 2017, like YouTube is like all over the place. So then I started sharing some content, and it was 4 months, I guess. I saw there were like no views, no subscribers, nobody came to me for consultations. So March, April, May, June, July, these 5 months, it was like very bad. Like no views, forget subscribers. I am done with this. I can't waste. more months doing this, so then one of my friend, he stays in Denmark. He was in Denmark. He was also doing his masters. He came to meet me, and I was telling him, I have left. I have like 15 days before I stopped YouTube. So he said, why did you stop? I said, no views, no subscribers, nothing. It's like just painful. I'm just speaking like a deaf and dumb fellow. It's like it feels I'm speaking to the walls and nobody's listening. So then he says, show me your channel, and he was a bit like, smart also. So he saw that I was not showing my face. I was doing screen recording of, some planet photos, and the audio was going in the background. I was speaking.
Okay.
So he said, "Hey, this sounds good, but it's a bit boring, like because people connect personally. So it's a bit boring, like the photo is static, you are talking of Saturn, the same photo is there 30 minutes, And he said, people have less attention span. This is what he said in
Yes.
2017. Imagine what's the situation now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He said, why don't you start showing your photo, your face, and you record directly? I was like, no, I can't do it. It's too much, like it was very intimidating. And then later on, I thought, okay, let me give a try, Then I recorded one video. It was like terrible. And I uploaded it. Like after uploading 24 hours later, I saw like I had like some few subscribers, 7, 8 unsubscribed after I uploaded. I was like, okay, very good. Whatever I have gained, let me keep uploading and it will go to zero. So I was like, great, let me kill what I created in the last 6 months. Let me keep uploading more and more, it will kill it. But then of course it was the opposite of what I thought. Then I started gaining some subscribers, and November 2017 there was a lady from US. She saw my channel and she invited me to her channel.
Okay.
And I had like 100, 200 subscribers, and she had like 2000 subscribers. It was a very big thing those days.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I was like, wow, I mean, very great. I mean, like somebody wants to interview me. It's a big thing. So then I went, then another interview, another. So like that kind of it continued, I would say. So yeah, so like that gradually kind of I started, and to my surprise, within like 9 months, by September 2018 almost, I gained like 10,000 subscribers. And yeah, then gradually it became 25, 50, and last year November it became 100. So yeah, it's a long journey. I would say it is an interesting one. Not very difficult, I would say, but it requires a lot of patience. This is what I will say.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Great. 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 Thank you for the detailed journey कि कैसे क्या हुआ, how you started. Because people today's time, right? Everyone think that अभी करो अभी result मिलेगा. Because everyone believe in instant gratification, I believe, right? Great. So my one question which I have for you is like definitely now if someone see you, they might think that your life is all set. You are a successful person, you are doing great in astrology, plus you are doing great in your job. Like, were there any moment in your life where you felt that like it was the most challenging moment of your life, and what was it and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So the most difficult, I would say, it was in 2016. So that time, what happened is I started my master thesis in my fourth semester.
Okay.
So September 2016, I started my thesis, and I was supposed to make the submission in 6 months by March end, and by April, actually April. But then what happened? It was around January. It was like dead snow that time, minus 10 degrees in Germany. So my supervisor, who was supervising my thesis, he called me and said, hey, please meet me. It is an emergency. So then when I went to meet him, I said, what happened? He said, my wife is pregnant and I cannot leave her, so I am leaving the university. And now, why that was like a disaster for me, because I was the only person in the entire university, in the entire computer science department, entire domain, who was doing a master thesis in machine learning. Everybody else was doing in web development, system design, software design, this, that. I was like, no, I'm interested in AI ML. So I took subjects accordingly in the first 3 semesters to do AI ML. And then, unfortunately, he was the only professor who was aware of machine learning. So that essentially meant, now, since he's not there, he told me, you have two options. Either you do the thesis yourself, or you leave machine learning, you take another domain. So now option one was, it was not possible for me to do it alone. And if I select option two, it's like I have to sit for another 2 semesters. I have to take subjects, I have to learn other domain, and then I have to start my thesis again after 1 year. So by default, from fourth, it would become like sixth, seventh semester by default, and masters is 2 years. So then what do I do? I was like, so then I went to this domain, that domain. Everybody said, those days machine learning was just coming up, so everybody said you can do with us, but the problem is we don't have data. So if there's no data, what do you analyze, what do you predict? So then there was one professor, he was a Turkish professor, he was like the dean of our institute, and he was famously known to pass students. And then he told me that, well, you don't have any future here, but he told me you can go to digital humanities department where you can get machine learning project. There is one lady professor who might be able to help you. And then I met that lady, and she was like, okay, I can offer you something, but the problem is it is in NLP, natural language processing. And I was like, what the hell is that? I'm like hearing it for the first time. I'm like, I have no idea, like I have never worked on language corpus, nothing, absolute zero knowledge on that. And then she said, okay, you take like I met her in July 2017, and she said, you take 3 months, like July, August, September, and you read natural language processing, you learn. And then we will come up with a topic in October, and you register for the thesis in October, and by April, you give the presentation, something like that. So that period from July 2017 to, I would say, April 2018, it was the, I would say, professionally or as a student, it was the most difficult part of my life. And that time I realized I have only two options. Either I surrender and I say I go back to Assam. Like I can't do it, I surrender. And nobody believes your story, like if you are a failure, right? Nobody believes you. They think, oh, you're just cooking up stories. Nobody will believe that, you are the only person doing ML, your supervisor was the only one, and this only plus only cut each other and it finished. Okay. So nobody believes this only theory, oh, I was the only one, it happened. So or the other option is like you fight and you fight till the last moment. You do whatever you can. So I thought, okay, anyways, if I go back, I will face shame, humiliation. That's anyways not a good thing, right? So it is like destruction and humiliation by default. It is there, it's waiting for you. We
Yes,
know
yes.
how India is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
North,
Mm.
south, India, people keep debating this is north, east, south, west, but one thing is common: if you fail, I was the most knowledgeable person in the university. There was no professor, there was no, like, there was nobody. I mean, everybody said, we can help you with Python, coding, programming, we can help you with everything, but we don't know what's NLP. And, I know it the most. So I was like, boy, you got to do it. It's like your job, and like, there's no teacher. My guide was very good. Luckily, the lady Carolina madam, she was very helpful, very nice. But at the end, like always for everybody, it was my job, I had to do it. There was nobody to do it for me. And then yeah, that thing happened. So that was like the place, because when I gave my 12th, then I gave entrance exams, this that, but it is always okay, if this does not work out, that will work out. If not this, then that. Okay. But now it is like there's only one way, there is no alternative. And
Yes.
if you fail, that's like lifetime of humiliation. So I thought, okay, let's take the risk.
So, what was your mental health at that time? Like, how were you emotionally, or like, क्या feel हो रहा था अंदर से? Definitely, lots of thought process will be going on in your mind. But how did you like push yourself to take risk? Because like not every one of us are taught to take risk in life. क्योंकि जितना हमने देखा है घर पे या नॉर्मली सारे लोगों को बोलते हैं अगर तुम्हें रिस्क दिखता है वहां से कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हो कीप योरसेल्फ सेफ, राइट? वो एक चीज सिखाते हैं हमें, बट नो वन टेल दैट if you take risk there will be more possibility of you to be on the other side, right? So what was your case?
My thing was clear in the sense, the other way was like, it was like almost as good as death for me. Like, I go back to my town in Guwahati and I face humiliation. Humiliation means, not the immediate humiliation, but it is like for whole life that will be like a thing. Oh, if only I would have tried, if only, no, that guilt, or that not guilt, sorry, regret, if only I would have succeeded,
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
was like, I will accept anything, but I will not accept that regret in my life. And while doing, I was thinking, okay, if I try for 1 year in NLP and I can't do the thesis and I fail, then okay, then if I go back, then I will still face humiliation. I will still face a black, what is that black spot in my lifetime. But I won't have that regret. So
yes,
my attitude was, if at all you have to face that dreaded scenario, face it after 1 year, give your 100%. And if at all that is in your destiny, then you face it. But you will still be equally humiliated in both the cases, but you will not have regret, because you are like, oh, I tried everything, i
yes,
I gave 100%. So that fear of regret was there in me, because that will be a lifetime regret. I will not be able to redo it. It is not possible. In fact, I remember in September 2017, one of my good friend, he's still in Germany. He came to meet me and we went for a walk, and after long days, after so many days, I saw the sun, because it was full dark. So when I saw the sun, I smiled. He was like, "Hey, itna kyun has rahe ho? Why are you smiling? As if you have seen something which you have never seen." I said, "Yeah, I have never seen it. From many days I have not seen the sun physically, but when I saw the sun, I was like, wow, I still have a new day. I can do something." So that day I decided every morning I will see the sun, because then I remembered astrology. The astrology In astrology, sun is the king of all the planets. So he is the source of light. Even science, light, photosynthesis, everything is the sun. If the sun is not there,
yes,
it's gone. So then I was like,
yes,
okay, maybe let me take inspiration, from the sun, because the sun always shows up, right? The sun does not think, oh, today there is cloud in Assam, let me not show up for people of Assam. No, I will only show up in Banaras, or in Kanchipuram, or maybe in Venice, or maybe in Chicago. It does not think like that. It comes, it does not, it does its duty without thinking of the results. So then I thought, okay, let me give 100% and let me see what's there in destiny. And yeah, that time I also consulted one or two of my senior astrologers. They also said, your period is very bad now, but 2018, 19, 20, 21, these are golden years for you. So I got hope from there also. And as I said, as I told you, by Christmas I got a glimpse, maybe I can do it. It's within my reach. And one last thing for mental health, I stayed completely out of all this nonsense, like, news, politics, movies, like gossip, and even interacting with some of my family members or my friends, like, or anybody who indulges in all this. Everybody has people in their family,
yeah,
friends,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
who are discussing things which don't do any good to
Make
anybody.
any-
I try to avoided them, and I did what was bare minimum, and I maintained a very strict discipline. And gradually I saw the sun is shining, and it was like, spring also came by March, April, so it was good days gradually.
Good to know. Good to know that finally you can see the sun after a long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So other question which I have here is like, since you have done AI/ML, right? And since you have also done, like, you are doing astrology, right? AI/ML somehow it's like something related to prediction as well. And in astrology also it's something related to astrology, right? Do you try to relate both the things, or like is there some kind of connection in both the things?
There, the answer is yes and no. I'll tell you where is it no, where there is no connection. Even though both are prediction, but still there is no connection. I'll tell you how. Astrology is a part of our Shastra, our scriptures. So it is like a science. It is not just a science, it is much more than science. But
Okay.
for a layman, let's talk, it's like science. Science means
Mm-hmm.
you make certain principles
Mm-hmm.
which will give you fixed outcome. You make rules like mathematics, a plus b whole square, a square plus 2ab plus b square. Or you have, the value of g, 9.8 meter per second square, something like that. Not everywhere. You go to Himalayas, the g value is different. You go to Germany, it is different. But we take some estimate, it is 9.8, let's take that. So that's like science. So astrology is exactly like that. So in astrology, the predictive part is not like the AI ML part, where you are, taking millions of data and you are seeing commonality, this, that, and you are saying, oh, for 1,000 cases this happened, so for you it must happen like this. Like, in AI ML, like pattern recognition,
Yeah,
they will
yeah,
see,
yeah,
hey, is this a dog or a cat? They have like 100 million images fed into a dog looks like this. So, oh, this must be a dog. This can't be a cat. It's a bit like force thing. It has to be this. It may
yeah,
be another breed. You never know. But that's a bit like, how do I say? It is more like, it is not science based. I mean, it is science based, the AI ML part. There's a lot of mathematics involved, but it is drawing commonalities. It is like that. Okay. But my astrology is not like that. Astrology means doesn't matter what happened to him, doesn't matter what happened to her. For you, it will happen like this. That's it.
okay,
So in astrology, the prediction is like the final outcome. So it is like the end goal of it's like the essence. And there is no other human being involved. There are no 1 million horoscopes uploaded to a software. For 1 million, it happened like this. For you, you are the 1 million one. So for you, it will happen like this. No, it's not like. And it is also very, 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 very specific. Like, for example, I'll tell you how specific it is. Everybody, like in astrology, we have a horoscope where we have planets, sitting in particular houses. So for example, there is a house which is the 10th house. There are 12 houses. Every house represents, some area of your life, and the 10th house represents your name, fame, power, position, how much name, fame you will have, how much money you will have. And there is the planet sun. So it says, Parashar Muni has written, the BPHs, Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra. He says something similar when he says, if somebody in their chart has the sun placed in the 10th house when they were born, then the king will reward them with elephants and horses. The king will reward them with respect. All these things are written. So now you are like, oh, I have sun in the 10th, like, who's gonna reward me with elephants, right? Where are my horses? I will, मैं घोड़े पे office जाऊंगा रोज. But it's not. But that was told for a particular socio-economic context, particular culture. But that does not mean it is invalid now. It is still valid, but the same effect will come as per our current circumstances. Like, for example, those days the elephants and horses were a mark of respect. And so now it can mean you get a big car, something like SUV, or in my father's time, there was, ambassador, big car,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bolero, Scorpio, all these things. Nowadays, there's Fortuner. Every other person has Fortuner in India, right? It can be something like this. And you have horses, horse can mean, you have like some very fast moving car or something like that. And you get respect. Respect means, you can sign. You are IS officer, you can sign the seal. It's like the king has given you power. You authorize on my behalf. So what is that? That's like a government official sign, right? The government official is signing. But that will still vary. In India, it will have a different meaning. In Germany, it will have a different meaning. In Germany, it may mean you have a lot of power and all, but in India, you will also have a lot of respect. People will do like this. In Germany, they won't do it. So everything is culture based, it is context based. And suppose somebody has a placement, then it can also mean, like, why I'm saying all this is because for AI and ML to figure out this is a nightmare. It is, I won't say impossible just because it is of my domain, but I will still say it is very, very, very difficult, because the AI does not know your context, your culture, your upbringing. That only the astrologer will know when the astrologer talks to you. Like, I'll give you a small example. 6 months back, I was in Udaipur, and in Udaipur, I met a person who was like, very, very, very influential personality. He was somehow related to the lineage of the great Maharana Pratap, and he told me, "Can you look at my son's horoscope?" So then I was like, "Okay, fine, I will look at it. Please give me the details." And I opened, and I saw his son had a very average horoscope. Average means not bad, but there was nothing like, astrologically, there was nothing which was like, wow, that's a great placement. Okay, so there was no wow factor in his horoscope. Now then he was asking, what do you think he will do in life? So I was about to speak, I was just about to speak things like, oh yeah, don't expect much. He will just make a living, just be happy with that. But the before the moment I started speaking, by God's grace, his son came out from his room and I saw him. I got the shock of my life. He was like, 6 feet 5. He was looking like a superstar. And he was smarter than the most smartest people I've seen in my life. And he came and sat for 5 minutes with me. And he was like, yeah, I want to do business here. I will do this. हिला डालेंगे, सब हिला डालेंगे. What the hell, man? What is this? How is it possible? I mean, this is his horoscope. How in the universe is this person like this? There's no possibility. And then I talked with his father, who told me to check his chart. I was like, can you show me a few other charts of your relatives before I talk of his? Then he showed me his brother's chart. This person's brother who retired as, very, very powerful, like, in the army. Very, very, very powerful. I saw the horoscope was very normal. And if that was the chart of another normal person, it would be like, okay, work 8, 10 hours a day and you retire at 60 and life is gone. But then what I realized, because he's from such a great lineage, Maharana Pratap's blood, that lineage, even a normal horoscope is extraordinary. It is 1 million times powerful than any IS officer or any other person's chart. Just a normal horoscope, how powerful it. Now imagine Donald Trump. Imagine Donald Trump's son, has a reasonable. I mean, I don't know what his son has, Baron Trump or something, the youngest. Just imagine he has a reasonable good chart. Reasonable, okay. How much money is he gonna make? Can you just imagine? If a normal other person and we would say, oh, yeah, ठीक है, MBA करेगा, नौकरी करेगा, हो जाएगा, like that. But because he's Donald Trump's son, he already has so much money. He has all the connections with all the biggest people in the world. So for him, that this 1% above average thing is like, it can add, I don't know how many, like another 10 billion into their portfolio, something like that. So these are things uh, which will be very difficult for AI and ML to like understand. This is an example of the concept.
Okay.
So that is why I said AI ML is general. Okay, we have a sampling data set like 1 million dog pics. So in India, we know this will be a dog only. Any part of the world, this has to be dog. Has a tail and eyes like this. They will find out. But in astrology, it is completely bizarre. It's like never like better to always talk with the person and see and kind of use your sense also. Maybe this person is from a very like the lineage is very great.
Yes.
So that individuality is missing.
Got it.
So that
Got it.
that is like the difference. So in the final sense, both are predictive, but the mechanism is totally different. One is based on like, okay, for 1,000 people it was like that. For you, it must be like this. Okay, but for astrology, it is like, no, I don't care what it is for your brother or your neighbor. For you, it has to be like this. That's all. So in that way, astrology is unlimited number of times, million, billion, trillion times more powerful and accurate than any AI ML model will ever be in this universe. No chance.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Great. So, like, great. You have told quite a lot about astrology. So, other thing which I also wanted to know is like, when did you felt like that you have to start your own company, or like you are founder of Exotic Astrology currently, right? So, when did you found this company, and like, what does Exotic Astrology does in general, right? So, as I told you, I was very spiritual person. I believe in stars. So now can you also tell about your exotic astrology and how it is different from other? Because definitely there are lots of different kind of astrology. What exactly exotic astrology means?
Yeah, so this was February of 2017. I am one of my friend. I was discussing with him, like, I want to open a channel, what name I should give. So he said, like, all these standard names, like divine astrology, this astrology, that astrology, light astrology, soul astrology, all the typical terms, like associated with divinity. How does this exotic sound? Like it sounds like nice. So then I thought, yeah, maybe the name is good, because it shows something unique. People, I will actually tell them how the mechanism works so that you don't need an astrologer. Doesn't matter. The things which I like to share, they are holistic in nature. And I always tell people Don't aim for individual development in only one area of your life. Example, if suppose somebody has a planet in their 10th house, they have Mercury, let's talk in very layman terms. It does not work like this, but I'm just explaining. Suppose somebody has Mercury in their 10th house. So you go to any standard astrologer, they will say, oh, go and take Panna. Okay, emerald that you take green. But then the problem is, what happens with that is, if the person wants a job, it is nice because the house of name, fame, power, position, the 10th house is getting activated, because when you wear the emerald, it will pull the energies of Mercury and that house will kind of activate. But the problem is, the 10th house is a very bad house for marriage. It's one of the houses of divorce. So that is why you will see big politicians, most of them are either unmarried or they are separated or they are divorced. You take any example, Prime Minister Modi,
Yes.
separated. Rahul Gandhi not married. Indira Gandhi, we know what happened. He became a widow. Yeah, so Sonia Gandhi also, no, widow, right? So now, if a person comes to me and says, "Okay, I want to wear this gemstone of Mercury. I have Mercury in the 10th house." So I will ask the first question to that person: how is your married life? If the person says, married life is good, by God's grace, it is nice, then I know, okay, then even if the marriage goes down a bit, which it will by wearing Mercury, he will still be able to absorb it because he has a good marriage. But now, if the person tells me, married life is like gone, we are just like hanging, that day is not far when we are gonna announce it, it's like very bad, we can't stand each other, we are shouting at each other, blah, blah, blah. And then he's asking, can I wear this emerald? I'm like, certainly not, because if you wear, before the news of your promotion or new job comes, your news of divorce will be out. So in a way, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to help the person holistically. No man or no woman will want that I get a better job with a divorce. No man or woman, right? So this is an example. Like, this is, so my approach is very holistic. Whichever astrology you are doing, I try to do it. I try to give you insights which can improve you overall as an individual, not in only that area of life. So in a way, I see, I mean, with all humility, I am saying this not to boast myself, but I strongly feel this is done by very few astrologers. Everybody is very individual centric. Most of the astrologers, oh, this problem, take this remedy, take solution, take gemstone, go, don't show me your face, take this, buy, take this, go, this will happen, go. But are you able to help the person overall? So my agenda, when I consult somebody, I have only one agenda. My agenda is not to tell them, oh, you will become a millionaire at the age of 38. That's not my agenda. My agenda is, if the person is talking to me for half an hour or 1 hour or whatever time, after meeting me, the person should feel good about themselves. They should feel better about themselves than before they came to me. And better, not like nice things, oh, this will happen, that will happen, not like, but better as an individual. So that is where I see, and that is the first thing. And the second thing is, like, why I named it exotic, which was a bit like counter opposite. I thought I will also share my knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all this, which apparently is like orthodox or old or something. This is certainly non-exotic. But I thought no, I will make it exotic this way, because I will show how following the principles of Bhagavad Gita in your life will help you improve all the 9 planetary energies in your horoscope. So in a way, that becomes exotic. It is something which nobody does, or very few does. Even for predictive, though, nobody does it. So then I use like Bhagavad Gita, I use Ramayana, I use Mahabharata. No, I tell this is dharma, that is dharma. Like, for example, nowadays, a lot of cases come for extramarital affairs. So this is unfortunate, as this is Kali Yuga. As Kali Yuga is progressing, these things are happening more and more. So I clearly tell them that, dear sir, dear madam, you are asking me, you have a husband, you have a wife, and you are asking me, should I do this? This is my, what is that, mistress, okay, or this is my girlfriend, okay. So I clearly tell them that what you are doing is not correct, and you will have severe karmic consequences if you continue to do this. So I would advise you to stop it immediately. So in a way, I try to give holistic scripture guidance using the scriptures. So yeah, that is why I have named it exotic.
Okay, great, great. So I have also talked about like Kiru Yong, right? And you have also mentioned about gems, right? In Assam, many people follow these gemstones and other things, very popular in Assam. So when I went to like north side of India, when I was wearing stones, like people were asking, "Bhai, kya hai ye? Kyun pehna hai?" Right? So I was wearing one mukta and one ruby, which I'm not wearing now. I'm not sure कि उस टाइम पे मुझे क्यों दिया था, वो भी नहीं पता, है ना? And other thing is, like, does any kind of mantra which they also gave me, does it also work?
Yeah. So many people ask this, I got this mantra, that gemstone, this remedy, that remedy. Does it work or will it work? So when they ask me, will it work? I ask them in return, what do you exactly mean by the statement, will it work? So if somebody says, will this work? By will it work, if they mean, will this change my karma? Like I did something bad and then now this is happening to me. Something bad is happening. So if somebody asks, I will wear gemstone of that planet, will it work? And by that, if they mean, will the karma change? Then the answer is no. Because imagine, you commit a crime and you go to the Supreme Court and you say, oh, I will take this gemstone or I will do this, do that, will you forgive me? So do you think the court will forgive you?
Of course not.
If a mortal court of India or America, Germany does not forgive, do you think God will forgive you?
Of course not. Yeah, yeah.
But there are remedies which you can do in general, like that will take away some of your karmic burden, because you are voluntarily accepting suffering. Like for example, fasting.
Okay.
If somebody has problems in their marriage, if a man has a bad married life, then they should fast on Fridays, because Friday is the day of Venus, and bad marriage means you have done something bad to your wife in your previous lifetimes. That is why in this lifetime either you have a bad marriage or you don't have a good wife, either ways. So then you can fast on Fridays. But the thing is, to understand this, you have to know there are three types of karmas. One is the Sanchit karma. Sanchit karma means the sum total of all our karmic baggages, good and bad, which we have committed in multi-million billion lifetimes. Okay. Then we have Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha means the karma that we are destined from the Sanchit karma, we are destined to experience in this lifetime. Because we cannot experience all the karma of our past in the one lifetime. It's not possible. Our body will be burnt. But we have Prarabdha. Prarabdha is destiny, which is formed at the time of death, birth, sorry, and ends at the time of death. So no remedy, no upay, no gemstone can change your Prarabdha. But there are other things, like when you go to a guru, Shishya Parampara, you take Diksha. So when you take Diksha, what happens? The Guru takes a banana and puts it into fire. And you promise the Guru that from today I will not commit sinful activities. I will not do pap, and I will do this number of chanting of mantras every day for the rest of my life. I give you my commitment. So then what the Guru does is, the Guru requests God that, hey, this person has promised me he will not do wrong activities from today. So you please remove his all Sanchit karma that is there. Nullify it. Zero kar dijiye. And then God asks Guru in return, who takes guarantee that he will not do? If he does, what? Then the Guru says, okay, I take guarantee. So God asks the Guru, okay, so if he does pap from tomorrow, if he harms my other children, what will you do? Then the Guru says, I will take 50% of his sins. You give it to me. Then there is Diksha, initiation, like that. So there are upayas, pariharas, there are this. But at the end, your prarabdha cannot be changed. So prarabdha is seen from the horoscope. In this lifetime, the next 50, 60, 80 or 100 years, whatever you are staying, this is your destiny and this you must face. But there is another level 3, which is called Kriyamana karma, which is the karma that you are committing since the time you are born in this lifetime. Like horoscope is like a screenshot of your past lifetimes. Okay, screenshot, right? But what are you doing in this life? You are living from 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Did you even screw it more, or have you minimized the damage, right? So at the end, in astrology, we also have techniques to know the Kriyamana karma. It is using Prashna chart and all this. I will not go into the details, but we can know Prarabdha is your birth horoscope. And Sanchit karma, we cannot see. There is no way to see. The total mess that we created, we can't see that. Prarabdha, we can see from the chart. And Kriyamana karma, we can get to know from Prashna chart. Prashna chart means, suppose you are asking me a question, like very specific question, like my somebody has been kidnapped in my family. Will that person come back? Now this you cannot answer using astrology from the birth chart, very difficult to answer. Or like, I lost my car, will it come back? Okay, something like very, like very, very, very specific. Sometimes we cannot answer. So then we tell there are different ways to do prashna. So sometimes we tell, okay, give me a number between 1 to 247. Whichever number comes in your head, that planetary energy will give me the answer. So you say, oh, I think 88 is the number, something like that. So there are different prashna techniques, by that we get to know. But in general, the crux of the matter is do good karma. Kriyamana karma is within your hand. So do good kriyaman karma. So in the next life, the prarabdha that you will have, the horoscope in your next life, it will be a mixture of your sanchit karma and the kriyamana karma of this life, because the prarabdha is gone already. You stayed 100
Yeah.
years, prarabdha is finished. So sanchit karma, what is there in your big baggage, and then what you do in this lifetime. So that you combine, and part of that, depending on what your destiny is to be fulfilled, you will get a new horoscope in your next life. So at the end, I tell people, like, remedies are like, there is rain, but you have a raincoat. Okay, you have an umbrella. So it is like an umbrella. Umbrella means it does not stop the rain. But let me give you one example to demonstrate this. Like, for example, if you do a lot of spiritual practices, lot of mantras, you elevate your consciousness. And suppose I see that in 2026, which is next year, suppose you will have a lot of financial losses. Let me say like this. Now imagine a normal materialistic person. They hear it, their blood pressure will start going higher. आज उपाय बोलिए, क्या करूं, कैसे होगा, क्या होगा बताइए. They will start losing it. Because most of the people, they are very attached to money. They will beg, borrow, steal and kill for money. But imagine there's a person who has done a lot of spiritual practices, and you tell him, hey bro, you're gonna lose it next year. Then he will be shocked, but he will not be like, क्या होगा, अरे कैसे जिंदा, देवा रे देवा, गणपति देवा, देवों में तुमसे बढ़कर कौन और तुम्हारे भक्तों में हमसे बढ़कर कौन. They will not do all this. They'll be like, okay, whatever God has given him, that is in my destiny, let it happen. Maybe in 2027 I will make more money, who knows. So now what is happening, the same misery is coming, right? But for a normal materialist, he would suffer like, a billion times more. He will start suffering before only. But even when the spiritualist is going through it, he will be like, okay, what will happen? I will lose this house. No problem. I will stay in a simple house. क्या होगा, 3 BHK से 1 BHK होगा ना. क्या होगा, बीवी मेरी बातें सुनाएंगी, दो चार गाली देगी, बच्चे बात सुनाएंगे, my father is useless, he's down. So along with the finances, he will have a nightmare overall. Because his family or whatever, like father, mother, nowadays nobody respects you if you don't have money. But the same person who is spiritual, he is detached. So for him, the fluctuation will be like this. The amount of money loss is fixed, no, that you can't change. You made 10 lakhs, you lose 8 lakhs, okay, that you can't change. But at the end, the misery will only affect you when it enters your mind, right? So that is within your control to a large extent. And if you don't do spiritual practices, if you don't elevate your consciousness, that 8 lakh loss can be like 80 lakhs. People also commit suicide sometimes. They think, oh, I lost this, I will never be able to make it back, it's over, let me kill myself. Okay. Or you are a spiritual person, like, okay. Like, I have one of my friend, he's very spiritual, he's also in YouTube. He will exactly know what I mean. So what happened? He made a video and another YouTuber copied his video. And I called him and say, what is this? You should take legal action. आपका वीडियो ऐसा कॉपी किया है ये. Everybody is writing, hey यार वीडियो कॉपी हो गया, ये करिए वो करिए. But then he told me, Bhabajeet, it's okay. Maybe I had copied from him in my previous lifetime. It's okay, let him copy. I was like, wow,
It's very cool.
very good. So now it's so bizarre that his subscribers are angry that his video is copied, but he's like he's bothered. So this is an example. You cannot change,
Yes, yes,
you
yes,
cannot
yes,
stop the rains, but you can make sure it does not touch you. So that's the answer.
yes. Great. Just to like wind up this question. So definitely, you mentioned that spirituality होना चाहिए. अगर हम लोग फास्टिंग वगैरह भी कर सकते हैं, या मतलब जो भी अपने कर्म को अच्छा कर सकते हैं उससे कुछ कर सकते हैं, देन द इफेक्ट विल बी मिनिमल. बिल्कुल जीरो तो नहीं होगा, Like example which you have given.
will be less. Physically, it will be the
Yes,
same. Mentally, how
yes,
much you are affected, that will reduce.
yes. For example, when I was working, I had a very good package, right? So now, like when I'm not working and I am starting my own company, right? From whatever my salary, monthly salary, now to it's completely zero till the time I start building, right? So इफ आई वॉज नॉट ए स्पिरिचुअल पर्सन तो वो थॉट प्रोसेस अंदर से ही मुझे खा जाता कि यार क्या होगा कैसे होगा क्या करेंगे बट सिंस आई हैव द थॉट प्रोसेस कि यार हो जाएगा ठीक है अभी द एग्जाम्पल विच यू हैव गिवन आई हैव बॉट माई हाउस सो आई कैन सेल माई हाउस राइट ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा मेरे पास गाड़ी है मैं वो गाड़ी बेच दूंगा
Correct.
एटलीस्ट कुछ टाइम तक है ना देन तो और भी अच्छा हो सकता है so I can definitely relate whatever you have told Bhabajeet. So thank you for sharing this example. अपने से ही connect कर रहा था from all the example. Another one thing which I saw from your prediction, आप काफी LinkedIn पे भी post करते रहते हो. So recently you have mentioned that from 28 I think July के या इसमें कुछ एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम फ्रेम आपने बताया था कि कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन साइन या एग्रीमेंट साइन नहीं कुछ ऐसा आपने लिखा था so can you tell little bit about that because of that since I told right I am bit spiritual person जब से मैंने वो लिखा है there are certain service agreement I have to sign I have paused kind of that so I don't know कि वो करना चाहिए
Yeah, so astrology is basically a way to read the universe. It is just that. You can say it is a language of planets or what, but at the end, it tells you when you should do something and when you should. Like, for example, if you see any date of birth, wherever 4 is involved or 8 is involved, there will always be some problem. You will see. Not only date of birth, you go and you see, fourth floor of any building. Problem. Eighth floor problem. Why? Because these two are numbers of Rahu and Saturn, 4 and 8 respectively. Somebody is like you see, when was the Pahalgam terror attack? It happened in April, that is 4. Then the date is 22nd, that is also 4, right? And Air India crash happened on some other day, but if you see the flight model of Boeing which has problem, what is that? 787, right? That is again 4. So if you see Jallianwala Bagh, that also happened on 13th April, again 4, again 4. You will always see 4 and 8 are related with bad things, bad events, so avoid 4 and 8. So in short, that is how it is. So now in the current context, as you asked, so that was a post about Mercury retrograde. So the planet Mercury deals with communication, signing documents, and like yeah, all this basically, signing contracts, legal documents, negotiations, all this. So retrograde means for a particular period of time, it appears that apparently, not in reality, apparently from the Earth's motion, it appears as if the planet is moving backwards. Okay, it's a relative motion. In reality, the planet is moving ahead, but because of certain arrangements, it appears as the planet is so moving backwards. So then what happens when the planet is retrograde during a particular period of time? Like now it is retrograde till 11th August. So it is highly likely that whatever you do now, if it is something very serious, you have to do it again.
okay
So therefore, it is recommended you don't sign any document, and old people will come back. So you might have observed, from the time Mercury was retrograde, or maybe you will observe till 11th August, old friends will contact you out of nowhere. Old relative, old friend, somebody very old will contact you. Even if you don't, they will contact you somehow. So therefore, when we know it, we avoid certain things and don't give your word. हाँ हाँ दे दूंगा जाओ जाओ. Then you are like, oh, it seems I'm not in a position. So then you will have to cut a sorry figure later on, because there's a famous meme which says, after Mercury is direct again, after retrogression is over, you will see this meme will appear in Instagram. So it will be written, Mercury is now direct again, and it's suddenly all your fault. So it will always happen. Like in my case, it happened 2018 when Mercury was retrograde first quarter. I was about to stay in another city with one of my friends. So he told me before, hey, 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 you can come, no problem. So I went and I signed the document. I surrender my hostel. Please take it. I'm moving next month. Yay. Then I called my friend and I said, hey, finally, I'm moving with you. Then he was like, why did you not ask me? I'm like, what do you mean? We just talked that day. He said, no, today morning there has been a circular that our hostel warden sent a circular. He's also in Germany. He said, our hostel warden said there are too many Bangladeshis which are living like, in one room, 4 5 hours staying. One has registry, 4 5 hours staying. They are paying like 1/5 of rent. So anybody found bringing any friend or anybody will be persecuted without doubt. And this is applicable with immediate effect. He sent me that circular in German. And when Germans decide to threaten you, it's like, it's really bad.
Yes.
I was like, my God, suddenly I'm homeless. Suddenly I'm homeless. There's no place to stay. Anyways, then I found something else, and so the world will not be destroyed if we wait another, because generally it is around 20 days. Yeah, so now till 11th August, don't make any commitment, don't start anything new, don't talk of money, don't talk of funding. And if you are getting something, don't resign from your job. Like many times it happens, like one of the ways you can know Mercury is retrograde. If you don't know astrology, like random, suppose you, how to know if Mercury is retrograde? Maybe it is if this happens. If you get something which is too good to be true, like you get a job offer, like now I am earning 10 lakhs. Suddenly it's 18 lakhs, 80% jump. Oh, what's the job? Oh, I have been doing this all my life. I can do it. And they're paying you 80% more for no reason. So then maybe market is retrograde and you should not accept it. Even if you accept, you should say, I accept it, but I will not give the confirmation till that date. Of course, it's difficult to say I will confirm after 20 days. But if you have some time, like, for example, you get a job on 5th or 6th, you can say to them, I need like 3 4 days to think on it. And then after Mercury goes direct on 11th or preferably 12th August onwards, you can say, okay, now I hereby I accept this, and after 12th you can resign. But it will always happen. Whatever
Okay.
you accepted will be too good to be true, and either you will change your mind, or they will back off, or you will get to know their truth. So you will be like, get lost. I am not staying here. So that's how it works. And in travels, you should, if somebody is traveling in Mercury retrograde, preferably not to travel. But if at all you are traveling and you have to travel, and many people will travel, the world will not stop. So if you have connecting trains, connecting flights, make sure you have good gap, because there will be problems. So if you have one train which is, after half an hour there is another train, danger. So better to book individual tickets, at least 1 2 hour delay if you have a very long trip, like you are going somewhere. So prefer direct connections. This break journey not recommended. Even if it takes more money, book a direct ticket. Because in direct ticket, if there's a problem, it will be either it has to be there in the beginning, right? So then
Yes.
Otherwise, random, you are like, oh, I have 3 trains and 2 trains are gone, and in the third stop, I'm like hanging nowhere. It's dead of night, right? So better you not have the trip itself in the beginning if it's a direct ticket. So yeah, don't be like, there's a proverb, no, don't promise when you are happy, don't curse when you are sad. So this is applicable for Mercury retrograde. Sometimes you are too happy in Mercury retrograde and you promise, like in Mahabharata, this Draupadi's father Drupad had promised Dronacharya, friend, when I become king, I will give you half of my kingdom. And then what happened? Then the rest is history, of course. So yeah, avoid giving promises, or like in Mercury retrograde, the conclusion is always use the Russian saying. There's a saying in Russia, trust but verify. So anybody who does it will be saved. And if it is about big things like signing home, car, job resignation, it's strict no. Other things are fine. You go and you are stuck, you can come back. Some money will be gone, it's fine. But you resign from your company, and then after Mercury is direct, the other company says, hey, and we fire you before taking you. So then now you are gone, right?
Yes.
Who will protect you now?
Yes, yes, yes. Great, great. So I think we are almost on the time, Bhabajeet. So one last question before we wind our call. So since we both are from Assam, right? I want your advice and suggestion for our Assamese friend, right? How they can advance their career, because you have been in the journey being an engineer, then moved, studied in Chennai, then went abroad, did your job, then you are also doing astrology. So what advice you have to our juniors or friends or family members in Assam?
So my first advice would be, don't be lazy, because again, I am not speaking against my own people. But after traveling all over India and many parts of the world, forget rest of the world, but even within India, I have seen like we people of Assam, we don't keep track of time. We are like like we don't even believe there is something called as time. It's like what is time? I meet somebody, I gossip for like 6 hours, and it's gone. Or like my father used to say like 25 years back, he said something which I didn't understand that time. But I understand now. My father said he went to Hyderabad once. This was in 90s or something like that. He said, I was shocked after going. I said, what happened? He said, I did not see one place where, two young guys were sitting in bike and they were joking and wasting time. In Assamese, you say, no? So I was like, what are you talking? Like, what? They are doing something at but
Yes.
I was shocked. I have traveled to Europe, I have traveled Chennai, Banaras, I have traveled Punjab, all over India I have traveled in last 15 years. Very rarely I have seen. But even till date, I go to Guwahati, I go to Commerce College.
Main point.
It will be like this all over the place. Okay, so number one is I think in Assam, this one challenge is people are. It's not a challenge, like they say this thing is there. No, people are very soft and they're very like easygoing, which is very good actually. They are very much accepting of other cultures. But one challenge is they are not aware of the seriousness, the difficulties of life, because sometimes we have this tendency, and we means not our generation and nobody to blame. Somehow the tendency is like socialism. Like you ask any Assamese mother, do you want your son to go abroad, or not abroad, not Germany, UK, France, forget it. Do you want him or her to go to Hyderabad or to go to Delhi and study, or you want them to stay here with you? So 99 out of 100 mothers will say, no, no, better you stay here. I will feed you. That is nice as a mother, nothing wrong. I see this risk thing is not there. So number one, as you already said, like number one, I would say be careful of time, like where you are wasting time. I'm not saying don't talk to your friends, don't gossip or don't do. I'm not saying all that. That's human. Everybody does it, including myself. But it should not be like your days and weeks and months have passed and you have done nothing in your life. It should not be like this. So there has to be some. You should keep track of time, and not just time. But what you are doing in life, that awareness has to be there. You should be aware of yourself, what you are doing. And number two is take risks in life, move out of Assam, or you stay at your home. You don't have to move out of Assam, but you take risks. You start some self-employed work, you start some business. You don't have to sell your ancestral property in lower Assam or upper Assam, and you don't have to start business. Start something small, something. It can be something very small, like too small. It's so small that even if it fails, it doesn't bother. Okay. And at the end, the last, I would say, most important is you should focus on practical skill based work. I got degree, I have MBA, I have MCA, I have BCA, I have BTech, I have MTech, I have PhD. So what can you do for me? Oh, that you must tell me, right? Like I also have people, like I stay 2 months almost in Assam. When I go, I see my friends, relatives, cousins, like of my age. I see. I ask them, what are you doing? They say, no, no, I'm preparing for government exam. So I'm like, okay, fine. What exam are you preparing for? I don't know. I will give everything, whatever clicks. I said, okay, suppose you get this job, what will you do? No, no, boss will tell, no, क्या करना है, sign करो, only दिया, finish. होएगा.
सब कोई लो.
होएगा. So that may work, but everybody cannot be a government servant, right?
Yes.
Somebody has to have a job, or now in next 5, 7, 10 years, people will become self-employed. So then you have to find out your own way. So we as Asmis, we are blessed with a lot of other good things. Like, we are very simple in nature. We are not very complicated. Like people of Assam are a bit simple, I have seen. This is one good thing. After traveling all over India, I have seen. Other people go north, west, south, they will say something, they will mean something, and they will do something else. Okay, it's like three things are different. It's like a triangle. For us, it is like, oh, whatever is there, here, and mouth, it's same. Ja, phalapa. I don't like this. So we have that thing. We can be honest with ourselves, which is good. But we have to put some structure and some planning, and we have to give up laziness, and we have to keep track of time. Very important. And at the end, as I said, most important, focus on skill based work. rather than thinking of what you will do, you have to ask yourself what will be the outcome. Like you are selling something, what will be the final output? So whenever you do something by thinking of the final output, you will never go wrong in life. Mostly you will not go wrong. Like I know astrologers also in Assam. Like I have talked. So I ask them, hey, what you do, what kind of consultation? No, they come to me, I tell them this is here, there, finish. Then I'm like, but the person is not coming to you to know what is there in their horoscope. That is for you to analyze and tell them at the end what is good for you, what is not good for you. So that they are not able to do, many of them. So then I tell them, when they ask me what I should do, then I say, you learn predictive astrology, you learn to predict. Okay, you should do a career in real estate, you should be there in YouTube, you should go to IT, you should be in finance, whatever. You give some real world answer, no? So that the person is clear. If you tell, the person comes to you, client comes to the astrologer, and you say, Apunar Honi ate ase, etu bhal, beya, Saturn is here, Rahu is here, Ketu, that he can find in Chat GPT also. Why will he wait 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever, how many thousand lakhs of rupees to come and ask you? So focus on delivering results. So the more you are result oriented, the more you will progress as an individual and more as a society and more as a state.
So it was an awesome discussion, Babaji ji. So thank you so much. Was really good to know about you, how your journey has started. I'm sure lots of people will learn at least some percentage of it from your journey. Even an engineer can become an astrologer. And in astrology also, like what are the different things they can do, right? And I follow you in LinkedIn. So there are many good things which Babajit keep doing. So please feel free to follow him and his YouTube channel. And how can people reach out to you, Babajit? Like say if anyone want some kind of consultation, how can people reach out to you?
Well, I have my official website, exoticastrology.in. So you can go there and there is a consultation page. So you can select which consultation you want: childbirth, career, marriage, overall. You want a audio tape, you want to talk face to face with me. So you will find all the options. So yeah, that website will do justice.
Okay, okay. Great. So, thank you once again, Babajit ji.
My
It was lovely talking to you, and all the best ahead with your journey. And you are a real inspiration. So, keep doing what you are doing, and love to see you in LinkedIn. And good thing is you keep smiling, and it's inspired a lot of other people to keep smiling and motivating as well. So, once again, thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind invitation. You have been a very good host. And yeah, I mean, it's good to see people from my state. They are also getting into, like, I've met a lot of HR, but not an SMEs HR. So it is nice. And I wish you all the best for your channel and your new venture that you have started. I'm sure you will be very successful.
Thank you so much.
Okay.